So, hi everyone. My name is Dmitry. I'm the CTO of the Bestplace company, and just to give you, a quick context on what we're doing actually with Dagster, I'll show you what Bestplace does. So we're building machine learning driven geoanalytical platform for retail companies to help them to find the most profitable locations for the new stores, and for consumer goods companies to optimize their distribution strategy and to align their product mixes with the actual customers around the stores they're distributing. So it all started like this. We had a team of engineers and data scientists and a client. And then it all changed, and now we're somewhere in here. So we're having much more clients, and to deal with them, now we have a lot of analysts, not data scientists. So basically, yeah, we wanted everybody to be happy in this formula. We wanted our developers to take their Python scripts and to make everything reproducible with Docker. We wanted our data scientists to work with their Pandas and Dagster and Jupyters. And we wanted our analysts not to dive too deep into coding and to manage with all the complicated machine learning stuff using configs and YAMLs or Google Sheets. Actually, we have several ways to collaborate between each of us. And data science team collaborate with our analyst team through Jupyter. Data scientists make new experimental methods, and analysts all can code in Python and can use their new notebooks. And also, we all use Gitlab as our main storage for configs and deployments and runs, and analysts can use it too with its nice web IDE. It all started like this. We were using Mongo because of its geo operations we needed for spatial analysis, and Jupyter's. And back in 2016, the best alternative was to make something like this. Because the other pipeline engines or orchestrators were either too immature or buggy, or too slow for a startup looking for its solution. So our own solution looked like this. We had a YAML configs describing the model, the features we wanted to calculate, and it was running from a Jupyter with a kind of script like import our library and run the pipeline. Then we had more of the pipelines, and not each of them were about the predicting the new locations, but about the other things, and we wanted them to be scheduled and to be reproducible. It's not about the experiments more. So the development part of the company tried Airflow, but you can't pass parameters to Airflow, seriously. It has quite an unfriendly UI. It does nothing with our Jupyters and has quite a slow feedback loop when you're trying to experiment with pipelines. You have to deploy them to the Airflow. That's why it was a no way for our analysts, and they went this. Yeah. And finally, like half a year ago, we got back to the Dagster and saw that it was mature enough for us to try it again. And yeah, we've tried Dagster. So it actually helped us with several things to keep our pipelines reproducible and version controlled, to use our Jupyters with Papermill, and to configure everything in a YAML-friendly way. That's how our development flow looks like. So in shared production environment, we have our own self-deployed S3 server for intermediates and for log storage, and PostgreSQL for run storage, and we use Docker and Docker Celery Dagster deployment. So when the developers work locally, they start everything with Ansible. We're deploying with Ansible as locally or on the production. And they deploy a local version of Dagster. So they can develop code in Python in their favorite IDEs and to run it through the Python API in Jupyter. Why Jupyter? Because it is blazingly fast in updating your pipelines code. You can just restart the kernel and run it. You don't need to wait when Dagit will catch the new code and restart. And the other things is debugging and profiling. You can actually, we're working a lot with data frames and pandas, and we wanted to display it nicely and to have profiling in IPython. So it looks like this. You just develop your solids in PyCharm, for example, and run it with Jupyter locally deployed, having this YAML config and loading it and running execute pipeline. Yeah, we're having this nice QDMs, and we can preview everything just in line. Yeah, what comes next? We committed to GitLab and deploy it to the shared environment. And yeah, you can also test it locally on the exact same deployment as in production, having the nice stuff with presets. And yeah, here it looks like this. We're building versioned containers with code and run it with Dagit, and having the same Jupyter in production, so you can tweak something or explore the failure. So in GitLab, we just deploy it with Ansible and have our nice pipelines in Dagit. Yeah, you see, we're using the QDMs in Dagit. Yeah, and how does the analyst workflow looks like? So it starts, it consists of 4 elements. The developer's solids, which are robust, documented, and optimized. And you can use them as is from the library. The second way is, second element is analyst solids. So they're paper mill driven Jupyters that are business specific. They're visual. You can do graphing and displaying data frames, making your own ad hoc little parts of the pipelines. And I'm a kind of scientist myself. The analyst can tweak everything he or she wants. So it actually looks like this if some of you haven't worked with the paper mill. So you define notebook, like example solid, and label one of the cells with the parameters tag. So then the paper mill will put the real parameters here and run the notebook up from up to down. And then you have actually 2 options in our repository. You just can commit your notebook, and it will automatically become a solid with no inputs and no outputs, just nothing bind. or you can define your own inputs and outputs definition like this. This all can be done from the web IDE and like copying and pasting the example. So the analysts are quite easy with this stuff. Then we actually have taken the example from Dagster's examples repository with pipeline DSL and modified it a bit. So actually, we can now define pipelines not in Python, but in YAMLs. So these are the two identical pipelines defining this X stuff here. This one in Python and this one in YAML. So we can reference the existing solids, like I want this one, rename it. And this guy has his inputs from, from example add mul, example add one and example X. And he has an output, named output with sum and with product somewhere here. Yeah. So you can actually do forking with YAMLs. Yeah. And the fourth part of it is sophisticated configs from Google Sheets. It's actually quite a specific thing. We're storing Google Sheet that can define way to process your data. For example, this is a labeling solid that contains the rules and substrings for categorizing some points on map, like that are sales points. And we're just having a function in our library to download it from there. So you can actually pass a link to this table in Google API to the solid config, and it will download it and use as the configuration file. And yep, here we have a pipeline purely defined by an analyst without local deployment, just in the web IDE of Gitlab. And I wanted to add with a little proposal here. Currently, there is no way to preview a notebook from an S3 when it executes in Papermill. So it just saves the run notebook, and you can actually download it and look at it. But we wanted to have a way to debug it if it's broken. So the proposal is this, to actually not to substitute the parameter cell, but to comment it out and leave as is. And then to insert the Dagster stuff. And in the end, with nearby the teardown cell, to add commented out commit statement that would be able to, when you play around with your notebook, find an issue, fix it, and then you can just comment it out and execute the cell. It will strip the unnecessary cells, uncomment the original parameters cell, and commit it to the GitLab. So you will be able to debug your Jupyter solids very nicely and on the fly. So that's much of it. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. And you can direct me in Slack if anything of this was interesting to you.